Hello, everyone. Welcome to Midweek. Glad you could join us this week. Hey, got a huge celebration to make. Did you realize that the Oregon State Beavers are ranked number 2 in the nation? Did you realize that the Oregon State Beavers have beat the Ducks 5 times in baseball? And did you realize that we probably won't beat the Ducks in football in my lifetime? Maybe just want to celebrate. Go Beavs, way to go, number 2 in the nation. Get down there and celebrate it, and it's going to be exciting. Now, for the rest of the story. Okay, I know you're already tired of it. You're tired of politics, and you're tired of all of the people trying to get your vote, but don't get tired. I want to kind of inspire you today. Maybe. I was reading a report. Here's what it said. Believe it or not, only 25% of all self-described Christians actually made it to the voting booth on Election Day. I've heard some numbers maybe a little higher than that, but I'll use this quote. It was by a national publication. 25%. Why? Why would only 25% of people who say, I'm a believer, I'm a follower of Christ, vote? Maybe it's because they think their vote doesn't matter. Maybe because they're kind of fed up. Maybe because they're just angry at something. Maybe they think somehow that, wow, I can't put together the Christian life and politics. I want to just give you a couple of reasons why, and it's not too late, you should vote. You should take an interest. Number one, if Paul says we're to pray for our leaders, I can only imagine that he would say, vote for your leaders. If we're to take an interest in praying for our leaders, why wouldn't it make sense that I would vote for them and want to put a certain kind of person in there? I think another reason why I want to inspire you, maybe, and encourage you and your friends to vote is because in our country, it is a shared sense of ruling. And if I share in something, I have an accountability for it. I believe I'll stand before God, and he's going to say, hey, Mark, I landed you in this country. I landed you there as salt and light. You had a responsibility. I mean, if I landed and was raised in Cuba, it's a different story. I'd certainly want to be salt and light, but the way it plays out and the way I maybe vote or not vote in certain countries where I'm not even given that privilege, I want to take advantage of that. If Paul says pray for him, I'm sure he's going to say vote for him. And it's a shared responsibility. And secondly, or thirdly, is that our God-made governments. God said he created governments for the principle and for the protection of ruling and judicial protection and those kinds of things. If God is the one who instituted it and created it, would it not make sense that he wants his believers to participate in it? Can you fathom anything that God would create and say, Christians, please stay away from? Can you imagine anything that God would form for the benefit of our lives and tell the believers, get out? No. God created governments for a purpose. They may not always fulfill it. They may be skewed and twisted, but the principle of government is something that God gave us. And I can only imagine that he would say, I want you to participate with me. I think voting is another way of upholding our biblical principles. What are they? I believe that life begins at conception. Many in our culture don't. I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. Many in our culture are trying to twist that. I believe that trafficking children for purposes of sex and money is illegal and is immoral and wrong. Why wouldn't I want to get behind certain individuals and encourage certain movements that uphold those biblical principles? I think a culture that is caring for the poor, but not enmeshing ourselves with the poor, meaning we kind of umbilically attach them to the system so that they never want to get off the system. I think that's a biblical principle. Why wouldn't I want to be involved in elevating people and lifting people that kind of align themselves with biblical principles. I think voting, for some people, they think it doesn't affect the outcome. In other words, they're only going to vote if they can say there's this law of linearity between my vote and the reaction. And really, I think what they're missing a lot of times is I'm voting out of the principle of my stewardship and my responsibility. God, I'll leave the ultimate results to you, but I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to pray. I'm going to vote. I think sometimes, if you think about it, sometimes I think prayer is really low on the average person's life. And one of the reasons why a good friend of mine said that people don't pray because they don't think it works. In other words, they're always looking for that. I prayed, God did this. I prayed, God did this. Of course, I believe God hears us and God does things. But do I only pray because it has this string of attachment and reaction to God? Or do I pray because God wants fellowship with me? Do I pray because it is a way to exercise my faith? So when I vote, be careful that you aren't falling into the same trap, that it's like, well, if I can't see a direct correlation between my vote and a good outcome, I'm not going to participate. I think we want to participate because we're stewards of God's resources. Sometimes when I vote, it shares or demonstrates that I really care about leadership. I think it was Maxwell who made the statement, everything rises and falls on leadership. I think that's true. I think the reason why God chose Moses is because Moses got them out. Of course, God enabled them, but leadership mattered. Joshua got them into the promised land. Leadership mattered. The Apostle Paul launched the church over multi-nations, and it was his leadership. And Barnabas established the church in Antioch. It was his leadership. We have the same thing today. We need leaders. And when I vote, I kind of take a vested interest in saying, I want to be a part of supporting a certain kind of leader. I could go on, there's more. You probably have some better ideas. So I just want to encourage you. It's that time of year where we need to look, and we're going to have this weekend some guides that will help you kind of look in terms of what are some biblical principles. And don't stop there, but we're going to be praying this weekend. I want to encourage you to get involved in that area. It's important. Our country, our state, they need you. And we do not want to be a part of the 75% of designated Christians who say it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It really does. So I want to encourage you to do that. Guys, I'm going to just bring this up all the time. I want to invite you to join us the 25th of June. And we are going to get a cadre of our men, and we're going to park here at the church. We're going to march down together. What are we going to do? We're going to pray. We're going to go down there, and we're going to just participate in this men's conference. Some great, great teaching. There's going to be panels. We're going to gather together, and we're going to kind of just ask God to stir our hearts for our church, for our city, for our families. So I want to invite you to be a part. Don't sign up online. You're going to see the queue in various places. Don't go to the online. Go to our Church Center app. Go to our website, sign up there. Why? Because if you go to online, you're going to pay $75. If you go through our church, you're going to pay $25. There's a reason. We'll explain that more, but we got a discount as we're going together. So we want to get way over 100 guys to march down there together to be a part of this kind of, I think, really special moment where we're gathering. They're praying for 1,000 guys, and I want our guys to be at least 10% of it, if not more. And so we're going to gather together on the 25th of June. Hope you can make it. By the way, if you know of pastors or other people that want to see men's ministries kind of spread throughout the valley, we're going to be hosting a lunch on Friday here at the church with Dr. Lewis. And we're going to be talking about men's ministry, candidly, why it's hard. And we're going to be talking about the importance and the strategy of it. So guys, let's jump in there together, and we're going to have a great time. Have you heard? Skills Camp's coming up? Yes. Have you heard? We have over 500 kids already signed up. Have you heard? We have 100 volunteers to lead them. 1 to 5 ratio is not kind of what we want. So what do we need to do? Double the number of our volunteers. So you can sign up Church Center on Church app. You can also go online. You can call the office. There's a lot of ways to get involved, but that's going to be an important week as we touch our city and love our city. I hope you're having a great week. Can't wait to see you this weekend, whether it's online or in person. We're going to be crescendoing towards the end of Joshua. I hope you've loved it as much as I have. It has been a blast. And we're going to finish up about 3 more weeks. And then we're going to move into our summer series. And we're planning already the fall series. It's called Our Beautiful Messy Life. It's a study in 1 Corinthians. That's going to be fun. So we have a lot of good things coming up in the future. So keep at it, keep looking, keep involved. We love you. Take care.